Hi everyone, it's Barbara and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be creating some Dollar Tree Christmas decor DIYs that I think you're really going to like. Project number one, I am using 4 different wood ornaments from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 2 snowmen, the Mary with the deer at the end, the farmhouse truck, and the Christmas tree. I'm going to go over each one of these front, back, and sides with the Waverly Antique Wax, and then take a dry paper towel to blend that in and wipe the excess off. Allow those to dry, and we're also going to be using some scrap fabric that I had on hand. This came from Walmart, but you can use the color fabric of your choice. I'm going to cut this down to 12 inches on my Dollar Tree mat with my Dollar Tree rotary cutting tool. Fold that in half, so now you have 6 inches, and I'm going to place that on the mat and cut that down into 1-inch strips. So they're still going to be 12 inches long, and I'm going to cut 12 of these 1-inch strips. I am also going to be using some beautiful gingham ribbon. Now, my mother gave me this for my birthday last month, so I'm not sure where she got it from, but it is the sewing type ribbon. We're going to be adding these to some jute cord, so I'm going to take the fabric, fold it in half, take the loop where it's in half, tuck that under the jute cord, and then take the tails, fold it over the jute cord, pull it through that loop, and then pull it nice and tight. It'll look like a tie. And they're still movable. You'll still be able to move them from side to side on the jute cord if you need more room. So to show you again what I did, you have your loop, then you take your tails over your jute cord, pull it through the loop, pull them tight, even your tails up, and you have a nice bow tie. For the ornament that I'm going to add, I'm going to take some jute cord and do the exact same thing, adding that onto the other jute cord, and then I'll feed it through the ornament, double knot it in the back, and I'll put a dot of glue to hold that in place, cut my excess off, and then continue to add more ribbon. So I'm going to alternate mine in patterns with the gingham and the white, and each one of the ornaments will be in between 2 of the white fabric pieces. For the larger ornaments, for the Mary and then the farmhouse truck, instead of tying it around those ornaments, I'm going to glue them to the back so that they will hang straight when I hang my banner up and they won't flip around to the back side. Again, I'll alternate the patterns with my ribbon, and when I am finished, we'll have one snowman on the very end facing towards the inside of the banner. Then I'll have the Mary, the Christmas tree in the center, then the farmhouse truck because it's more of a similar size to the Mary, and then another snowman facing in the opposite direction as the first one. On the ends, I'm going to create a loop by double knotting that and putting a dot of glue there so that we'll be able to use this to hang our banner up. And I will do the exact same thing on the other end. Now you can hang this up on your wall, on your mantle. I'm going to be using these clear removable hooks from Dollar Tree, and I can hang mine up on my mantle. Now, I love the way this turned out. I love the colors. It really looks well with my mantle. But again, you can use whatever color fabrics or whatever color decor that you have. Let me know what you think of project number 1. For project number 2, we are starting off with one of Dollar Tree's bamboo cutting boards. We're also going to use this gorgeous church ornament from Dollar Tree, as well as 2 of Dollar Tree's larger white bottle brush trees and 2 of Dollar Tree's smaller bottle brush trees. Now, this is so simple, but I love the way this one turned out. I'm just going to play around with my placement to see how I want everything to be on the cutting board. And once I figure out where I want them to be, I'm going to hot glue each piece down. Now, I loved the way that the white and the wood look together, but you could also add some artificial snow on this, and it would be really pretty. This was so simple and so easy. But I really do like how this one turned out. I just love that natural wood and the white color. You guys, if you are enjoying today's video, I would love for you to click that subscribe button and the notification bell below so YouTube will remind you the next time I upload a brand new video. And also visit me on all my other social media links. They're all in the description box below. Now, project number 3 is going to be a similar concept to project number 2. We're starting off with this Dollar Tree sign. Remove the hanger from the back and the sticker, and then I'm going to take some sandpaper to sand that glitter off of the top. Once I get all of that sanded down, I'm going to take my Waverly White chalk paint and I'm going to give the top and the sides 2 coats and allow that to dry thoroughly. I'm going to take 5 of the tumbling tower pieces and hot glue them together to make one big block. And make sure you wipe your excess glue off because we're going to be painting it and you want it to be pretty flat. I'm going to paint the outside edges only because I'm going to be covering up the top part. And that will only take 1 coat. Now, once that's dry, I'm going to use this really pretty barn ornament that I found at Walmart. This was $1.98, and I think it is so adorable. I'm going to remove the hanger, and then I am going to take the white chalk paint and dry brush over these trees. I want to give them even more of a snowy effect than they already had. I am also going to paint the outside edge of the bottom so that I can blend this in with the scenery that we're making. Now, once that paint dries, I'm going to attach it to the top part of those tumbling tower pieces that we just put together. Glue that down. And this is going to set it up a little bit higher off of our platform. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put a nice thick layer on there and take some Dollar Tree sparkly faux snow and put that all over the Mod Podge to help blend that in and almost make it look like it's sitting on a hilltop. 2 bottle brush trees from Dollar Tree, and I found this adorable cow and cat figurine from Walmart. Now, it was a little pricey. It was $3.96. But the detail in it is so beautiful, and it's cows and a little cat, so I loved it. Now I'm going to hot glue these on top of the sign once I find my placement, know exactly where I want them to be. And then I'm going to take the smaller tree and put that beside the barn, and the larger tree right in between the smaller tree and the barn in the back to give it a little bit of height. And it's super cute just the way it is, but I want to put some faux snow on there and kind of blend everything in together so it's a nice snowy scene. So I'm going to put a really generous amount of Mod Podge on there and sprinkle all of that glittery faux snow. And you'll let your Mod Podge dry, and then you can go in later and just kind of tap it to get any of the excess snow off. Again, super pretty, just the way it is, but I'm going to give it a little something extra. I'm going to take some of Dollar Tree's LED lights, the battery-operated LED lights, and I'm going to wrap that around those trees in the back, and then I'll make sure that my cord comes down to the back part of our sign so we can actually tuck the battery pack underneath the sign and it won't even be visible. And I think this one, I just love this one. I think this is my favorite out of today, but I am partial to the farm scene. You guys let me know what you think of project number 3. Okay, project number 4. My Dollar Tree, I found some of these boxes shaped like houses and they're super cute. I got the larger size, and it has a beautiful red color on the inside. Mine measures 5 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to take some sandpaper and sand off the glitter. Now, luckily, only the glitter was on the lid of mine. And then I'll take my handy little mini vacuum to clean all that glitter up. I have that listed in my Amazon store. If you're interested, that's in my description box below. And of course, my little corner was coming apart, so I glued that back together. Using some giant craft sticks, I'm going to cut the rounded end off, and I'm using my handheld miter shears just to score a nice straight line. But then I'll use my scissors to cut that down. And I'm going to cut these into 3 7/8 inches long. And you're going to need 10 of these. And I'm going to sand each end off and then paint the front or the top and the sides in a black chalk paint, as well as only the top part of the lid in the black chalk paint. Now, once these are dry, we're going to flip them over, and I'll take my white chalk paint and paint the ends that will be visible once we attach these to the roof of the house. So on 4 of them, you'll need to do a strip for the overhang, and on all of them, you'll need the end pieces to be painted white. Then I'm going to paint the box itself in 2 coats of the white chalk paint, including the bottom, but leave the inside that pretty red color. Now the lid for the outside edge, I am going to paint that in 2 coats of the white chalk paint. Now you could leave the top roof just painted black. You wouldn't even have to add the craft sticks if you don't want to, but I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to mine. So now that everything is dry, this is how it looks, and it still has that beautiful red color in there. And this is how the lid looks. Now we're going to take our craft sticks and attach them to the top part of our roof, and make sure you line it up so that your white side that you painted is where the overhang is. And I'm going to leave, I didn't even measure it, I just left a little bit of an overhang in the front and matched it up with the seam at the top of the roof. And I'm going to alternate this from right to left as I go back, so they'll all be straight and meet right in the peak of the roof. And I'm going to secure all of that down with some hot glue. So when you get to the end, you'll have an overhang on the back as well. So once I get all of those in place, this is how it's going to look. So you'll have an overhang on all 4 sides. And then for the front of the box itself, now you want to make sure you have your lid, your opening at the top. I'm using the bottom of this birdhouse as just a guide because I liked the size of the bottom of it, so that I can place this and measure it out on the front of the box and trace it. That rectangle measured 2 7/8 by 2.5 inches. Once I have that all drawn out and traced, I'm going to take my utility knife, and first I'm going to score over the lines so that when I get ready to cut this out, I don't split the cardboard or break it. So I just like to go over it, score the straight lines, and then I can go in and cut that out. I just took my time and made sure that I was really careful not to break the box as I was cutting that opening out. Once I have that out, I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper and sand down all those inside edges nice and smooth. Now I'm going to take 6 regular popsicle sticks. I'm going to cut 2 of those down to 3.5 inches, and I'm using my handheld miter shears to do that. And I have that listed in my Amazon store in my description box below if you are interested in those. So 2 of them will be 3.5 inches, and 2 of them will be 2 1/4 inches. And I'm going to paint each one of them in the black chalk paint. Now this is going to become the frame of our opening for our door. I took a black Sharpie to go around the inside edge just to cover that up. And then our 2 longer pieces will be the top and bottom of the opening, and our 2 shorter pieces will be the sides. I'm going to glue it down, but it has a little, it's not completely covering the opening at the bottom. It's about halfway. So your glue, when you're placing it down there, is actually going to go on the bottom half of your popsicle stick, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to attach the sides so everything will be nice and straight when we get ready to add that top piece. And see how it was kind of crooked at the top? This piece will cover it up so it doesn't not have to be exactly perfect. So once I get those glued down, I'm going to take those other 2 popsicle sticks that we had, and they're going to become the cross pieces in the back side for our barn door. I'm going to paint both of those in the black chalk paint, front and back, and I don't need to cut these down. They're already the perfect size for this. Now I'm going to attach them on the inside of our opening at the corners opposite of each other. So I'm going to put some glue on those corners and then set one of the craft sticks in there at a diagonal like this. I'm going to see if I can get it a little closer so you can see. And then I'll put the other one in the opposite direction on the opposite corners, and also put a dot of glue on our middle of our first craft stick so it'll stick together right there in the center. And then I took my hairdryer to go over that to make sure I got all my glue strands out before we go to the next step. We're going to use one of these report covers from Dollar Tree and take one section of that and cut it out larger than our opening so that we can attach this from the inside, and it's going to look like almost like a luminary. And I always like to make sure that it's going to fit before I attach anything. So it's going to give it that luminary look. I'll show you a little bit closer here. Now that I know it's going to fit, I'm going to attach it using some hot glue. I'm going to glue around the outside of the opening on the inside of the box and very carefully place that in and press it down. Just be very careful not to burn yourself. And this is what it's going to look like on the inside. Now I went to my Cricut and created a decal, and as always, when I can, I create a free printable. For those of you that do not have a Cricut, I have this free printable on my website, which is in my description box below if you want to go over there, download it, and print it out and trace it onto your project. So it's very simple. I just created Merry Christmas. We're going to add this to the lid of our box. And then I always like to press it down, make sure all that vinyl is pressed down nice and smooth. I'm going to take Waverly's chalk paint in the color Moss and use 2 of the wood tree ornaments from Dollar Tree, 2 pieces of just green garland that I cut off, and then I dry brush some white chalk paint over it to give it a snowy effect. Then I'm going to trim that down. Now you want to make sure you put your lid on there so you don't put your garland where the lid won't close. So that's why the lid's showing on there before I attach the garland using hot glue. And then I glued some Dollar Tree red berries in the center. Now I can remove the lid so it'll lay flat, and I can hot glue those trees, one on each side of the box right in the center. And I thought it just added a little something extra to it. Now for the inside, I'm going to use 2 of Dollar Tree's battery operated votive candles, and I'm going to set one directly on the bottom of the box closest to the opening where the door is, and then the second one I'm going to set on one of Dollar Tree's wood stems to give it a little height behind the first one. And I think this turned out so cute. I do love this one as well. I don't know if 3 or 4 are my favorite, but you guys let me know which one is your favorite in the comments down below. You know I always love to know which one is your favorite. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so very much for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you guys next time.